Mr. P. Diddy was charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Some are asking how Diddy got away with it for so long and who else was involved.
Just now, a gang leader spilled the beans on why Diddy is living in fear behind bars. In the dangerous halls of the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York, grudges from the outside world can turn into deadly threats, and Diddy's past is catching up with him fast. Despite his desperate moves, throwing millions and even family homes on the line for bail, he's still stuck. What does it say when his fears are so openly known in such a brutal place? Tune in, let's delve into what this means for Diddy's days in detention. The high stakes of Diddy's bail battle. Building connections isn't just about making friends, it's also about making enemies. While he might have had ties with some gang leaders, prison is a place where loyalties shift quickly. Things left unresolved can come back to cause problems. At the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York, where Diddy is being held, gang activity is common. His past dealings could put him at risk for revenge. As the shadows lengthen and the corridors of the MDC grow quieter, Diddy finds himself haunted by the echoing footsteps of a figure from his past, approaching with intentions as dark as the night descending upon the city. Diddy ended up in MDC after being denied bail not once, but twice. The Bale Saga started on Tuesday the 17th, right after he faced charges in New York for racketeering, intimate trafficking, and transporting people for prostitution. His legal team went all out, pushing for house arrest with a GPS tracker and a $50 million bond. He wasn't holding back. He even offered his $48 million Miami mansion and his mother's house as collateral to show how serious he was. He, his mother, and even his daughters handed over their passports, showing they were ready to meet any of the court's demands. His lawyers were confident, saying Sean Combs never backs down from a fight. They were so sure of his release that they even spoke to the media as if it was guaranteed. You think he'll be released? On top of that, the court was worried he might try to influence witnesses. Given the serious nature of the charges, the court wasn't taking any risks. Prosecutors even showed evidence that he had been in contact with victims and witnesses, trying to sway them to his side of the story. This made things worse for him, but his team quickly filed an appeal. They took the case to U.S. District Judge Andrew L. Carter, offering strict conditions like weekly substance tests, allowing only family and caregivers to visit, and recording everyone who entered his Miami home. They even said no female visitors unless they were family members. But this wasn't enough. Judge Carter still wasn't convinced. He ruled that his past violence and so-called anger issues made him too dangerous to be released on bail. As a result, he was sent to MDC, a place inmates call hell on earth. MDC has a bad reputation for being one of the toughest prisons. It's overcrowded, violent, and offers almost no medical care. Even some judges hesitate to send people there. Judge Gary Brown once described MDC as barbaric after several violent incidents, including stabbings and deaths. Just this past June, an inmate named Uriel White was stabbed, and in July, another inmate, Edwin Cordo, died after a fight. On top of that, the prison struggles with a high number of tragic events, poor supervision, and lawlessness. In 2019, a power outage left over 1,000 inmates freezing in their cells for days, showing how badly things are managed. Life in MDC has been a tough adjustment for him. The luxury he was used to disappeared as soon as he entered the facility. His first meal was Swedish meatballs, a far cry from the fancy meals he used to have. While he could have chosen a black bean burger instead, neither option was close to the five-star dining he was accustomed to. Some might think he still lives comfortably, but the truth is, his new life is nothing like his old one. Let's see how his life changed from luxury to strict rules. Life on the prison watch. Inmates who want to harm themselves are kept isolated, watched all the time, and denied access to things like belts or shoelaces that could be harmful. Their environment is stripped down, sometimes to the point where they're placed in padded cells without furniture. Meals are served in small portions, and in extreme cases, inmates have to wear special clothes that can't be torn. Even basic things like books and toiletries are limited, making life in prison not only physically hard, but also mentally exhausting. Every part of daily life, from bathroom breaks to showers, is closely monitored. Being caught up in a situation like this is tough. His lawyer is working hard to defend him, claiming that the accusations are based on weak evidence and even threatening to sue for defamation if needed. Nowadays, his life looks very different from the glamorous one he used to lead. Reports say he's only allowed to take 3 showers a week and gets 1 hour of recreation time each day. It's a huge drop in his personal freedom, and it can get even worse if they think he's a higher risk. In those cases, he might even be physically restrained to prevent self-harm, with his arms, legs, and sometimes his head tied down. While the exact reason for such strict measures hasn't been made public, rumors suggest that his mental state might be fragile, which is why they're taking these precautions for his own safety. Some people compare his time in confinement to going through a personal disaster, pointing out how drastic the change is from his life of luxury to a prison cell. It's a dramatic shift, and with the uncertainty surrounding his bail and legal outcome, many see this as a dangerous road ahead. But this isn't the worst part. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, insists that he is not at risk of self-harm. After spending hours with him, Agnifilo says he is in good spirits and is focused on building his defense strategy. He describes him as strong, healthy, and determined. Despite these reassurances, life inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, where he is being held, is described as bleak. With his deep understanding of how serious his case is, it's only natural for him to feel concerned. Not just about his future, but also about what might happen to others connected to the case. The tragic death of Jeffrey Epstein, under similar conditions, has only heightened fears, especially since Epstein's death was surrounded by suspicious details like sleeping guards and malfunctioning cameras. This case doesn't just involve Diddy, it's pulling in other big names from the music and entertainment world. Lucien Grange, CEO of Universal Music Group, is one of them. Grange, who has played a huge role in the careers of stars like Taylor Swift and Drake, was dragged into the lawsuit. The lawsuit claims that guests at his events were given drinks laced with substances. Though Grange's name was initially mentioned, his lawyers fought hard, and he's no longer part of the case. But the way his name was removed still raises questions. But that's not the only twist in this scandal. Cuba Gooding Jr., the famous actor known for his Oscar-winning roles, is also involved. Allegations were made about his behavior at a party on the yacht, with claims backed by video footage, according to the lawsuit. However, Gooding has denied everything, calling the accusations baseless. His legal team is gearing up to fight back, confident that they can prove the claims are false. As these events continue to unfold, it becomes clear that this is not just a simple legal battle. It's a complicated situation filled with legal drama, public attention, and personal struggles as he faces some of the darkest moments of his life. Now let's look at the legal issues and the famous people involved. Celebrity status and legal quagmires. Being dragged into a lawsuit involving him seemed completely ridiculous. It felt like a huge stretch, but that's the kind of thing that happens when you're a celebrity. Gooding didn't think his connection to him was important at all and made it clear that their relationship was nothing close. He mentioned they were barely even acquaintances and thought the lawsuit was blowing things way out of proportion. He explained they had only met a few times when asked about how well he knew him. Gooding was quick to deny being part of his close circle or having anything to do with assault. Still, because of his past legal troubles, especially the accusations of intimate misconduct by many women, it's easy to see why his name got pulled into his situation. In 2022, Gooding admitted to touching a woman without consent at a New York nightclub. He managed to avoid jail by agreeing to counseling. That was just one in a long line of accusations, as over 30 women had accused him of similar misconduct. In 2023, just before another civil trial, Gooding settled a lawsuit where a woman accused him of assaulting her in a New York hotel room 10 years earlier. The details of that settlement were kept quiet. Ethiopia Haptemariam, a big name in the music industry, got involved too. She started her career at just 14, interning at LaFace Records, and by 2011, she had become senior vice president at Motown Records. By 2021, she became the chairwoman and CEO. She played a key role in guiding legends like Stevie Wonder and new stars like Lil Baby. Despite her impressive career, she got caught up in a lawsuit claiming she didn't stop inappropriate behavior at his events, suggesting that her silence was seen as her going along with it. Christina Coram, his chief of staff, wasn't spared from the controversy either. According to Jones, who lived with him, he had to deal with constant inappropriate behavior, which he reported to Coram. But instead of addressing it, she dismissed his complaints, saying it was just harmless fun. Stevie J and Meek Mill were also dragged into the scandal. Jones claimed he had seen a video of Stevie J in some compromising situations during one of his famous parties. As for Meek Mill, rumors began to spread linking him to a Philadelphia rapper who had dated Nicki Minaj. Meek quickly took to social media to deny having anything to do with the situation. Then there was Young Miami, who was accused of bringing substances to him during rehearsals and being paid for other shady activities. Things escalated when the lawsuit mentioned that her cousin had attacked Jones at a party, with photos provided as evidence. With so many well-known names involved, people are starting to worry that his past actions and connections could lead to serious consequences, especially now that he is facing the possibility of jail time. As his legal issues pile up, so does the scrutiny of his past, bringing back old scandals that many thought were long forgotten in the hip-hop world. Around 3:10 in the afternoon, someone important to the investigation revealed that he allegedly paid close to $1 million to arrange Tupac's murder during the well-known East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry. Surprisingly, it's claimed that he contacted a man named KYD to find out whether it was his group or a rival group that carried out the attack on Tupac. This isn't the first time these kinds of allegations have come up. There have been many documentaries, articles, and debates tying him to Tupac's tragic death. However, he has always strongly denied these accusations, calling them lies and refusing to take them seriously. Next, let's explore how old and new charges are mixing, putting his future at risk. Exposing the mysteries of Diddy's darker side. But even though he keeps denying these claims, new accusations by KYD have sparked interest again. Some are now wondering if he might be hiding something. If it turns out that these connections are true, he could face serious consequences. But this isn't the only problem he's facing. Other old allegations have resurfaced, thanks to comments from Jaguar Wright. She has stirred things up by suggesting he might have been involved in the untimely deaths of people close to him. For example, Kim Porter, the mother of 3 of his children, was found dead in her home in November of 2018. The official autopsy said she died from lobar pneumonia, a severe lung infection. However, Wright is suspicious, pointing out an earlier coroner's report that listed the death as a homicide and mentioned toxins in her body, which could hint at poisoning. Wright also brought up the deaths of Heavy D in November 2011, said to be caused by a pulmonary embolism, and Andre Harrell in May 2020, reported as heart failure. She hints that there might be more to these deaths than what's on the surface. But that's not even the worst of it. There are even more controversies surrounding Diddy. A woman has accused him of shooting her in the face during the infamous Club New York shooting back in 1999. This event was a major scandal in his career. The shooting happened in the early hours of December 27, 1999, at Club New York in Manhattan. He was there with his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Shine. The club was packed, and while he enjoyed the VIP section, gunfire broke out, causing chaos. In the midst of it, Natana Rubin was shot between the eyes. Amazingly, she survived, but has lived with fragments of the bullet in her face ever since. Even though Jamal Shine Barrow was convicted and served a 10-year sentence for the shooting, Rubin has always claimed it was him, not Shine, who fired the gun. She says she saw him pull the trigger and is even willing to undergo surgery to remove the bullet fragment from her face to prove it. He was arrested but later acquitted of all charges, and some think this was part of a larger effort to protect both him and Jennifer Lopez, who was also at the club. Despite a $130 million settlement in 2008, Rubin is still pursuing justice, convinced that the full truth hasn't come out. Shine has also spoken about how his actions that night completely changed his life. He has made it clear that their relationship wasn't a close friendship, but rather one filled with betrayal. With so many controversies and people potentially holding grudges against him, it's no wonder that he might be anxious about what the future holds. As all these issues continue to pile up, it looks like 2024 could be a tough year for him, with more secrets possibly coming to light. Police are searching the home of famous hip-hop star and businessman Petty, and tonight more details are coming out about some troubling accusations. After months of rumors, rapper and entrepreneur Diddy has now been sentenced following a big raid on his mansion. This event grabbed media attention and made fans and onlookers wonder what would happen next. Now that the verdict is in, it's time to look at the facts. In a surprising twist, Homeland Security is searching the homes of music star Sean Diddy Combs because of serious allegations related to intimate trafficking. This news has shaken the entertainment industry, leaving fans and others in shock. Now we dive into how the police are taking a closer look, shaking up his world. The unraveling of an icon. It all started with quiet talk and rumors spreading in the music world. Accusations about intimate trafficking and illegal activities began to circle around Sean Diddy Combs. Known for his huge impact on the music industry and his successful business ventures, he has always been in the spotlight, but now for very different reasons. Weeks before the raids, anonymous sources started coming forward, claiming they had insider information about his connection to a dark, illegal underworld. These serious claims led law enforcement to take action. One day, Homeland Security, along with local police, carried out search warrants at his luxury homes in Los Angeles and Miami. These searches shocked the celebrity world and left his fans confused. Although the exact details of the raids were kept secret, leaks suggested they were about allegations of intimate trafficking. There were rumors that his homes were being used for illegal activities, taking advantage of vulnerable people for profit. As the news spread, the media went into a frenzy, trying to uncover the truth behind these troubling claims. Reporters and paparazzi gathered outside his homes, hoping to capture the unfolding drama. This moment became a critical turning point in his life, both personally and professionally. Once praised for his music and business skills, he was now at the center of a scandal that could ruin his reputation. The music industry, which had long admired him, was now shaken by these shocking accusations. As the investigation moved forward, the public began to wonder just how involved he was and what consequences he might face if the allegations were true. The intense media coverage only fueled more interest and questions from the public. As more details came out about the investigation, the story got even darker. People close to the case claimed that he had used his power and wealth to exploit vulnerable individuals for his own gain. The accusations said he had set up a network to help this trafficking ring, luring victims into a life of violence. This news hit the music industry hard. For him, the impact was huge. His carefully built image as a successful businessman and philanthropist was now at risk. The scandal didn't just threaten his career, it also put his personal life under a microscope. Fans who once looked up to him were now demanding answers. On social media, people were calling for justice, using hashtags to push for accountability. The music industry was also forced to take a hard look at the whispers of exploitation that had been ignored for too long. This scandal opened up a conversation about how to protect aspiring artists and prevent exploitation. His business empire also faced serious trouble, with sponsorship deals and partnerships in danger as companies tried to distance themselves from his tainted image. Years of hard work and success were now hanging by a thread. What do you think? Could he be innocent, or is this the end of his career? Comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.